This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Monday, December 19th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I talk with USDA Rural Development State Director in Iowa, Theresa Greenfield, about last Thursday's announcement from Secretary Vilsack about some grants for climate-smart agriculture in rural America. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, and for a bit of analysis, we go to Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, a bit of a down day in the markets today. First off, what was going on in the grains?
Well, in the grain markets, I think a couple of different things. And of course, you read some people and they're saying, well, we're starting to thin out in the trading. I think that's a little bit too early for that. But I think, when we're looking at probably the biggest thing that I think was pressuring grain markets was, China basically eliminated all of their COVID restrictions after the protests. And it's just kind of, they went from one side to the next dramatically. So, but what's happening now is there's been a surge in these COVID cases, but yet, so people themselves are quarantining themselves. And now that's with their structure, the way they have for healthcare and everything, making this much of a dramatic change. It may impact, at least the thinking is it may impact some of the imports that they'll be looking at, grains, maybe meats. And that's one of the things that I think has kind of got the trade a little bit on edge right now, because before, every time they looked like clamping down on some of their movement, it impacted grains. Now, the same thing is basically could be happening, that the people themselves are going to be doing it because, the surge in some of these cases. But looking on the other side, the positive side of the market, the U.S. and Mexico are looking to reach an agreement in January over the GMO corn situation. Now, it's supportive to the market potentially. We don't know what it's going to do, but it did not support it today. I think it was overridden by the China deal, maybe just a little bit more of, basis really didn't move a whole lot over the weekend. So it's kind of a status quo. So maybe a little bit of the path of least resistance, you could say, just being a little bit weaker today. Traders looking out ahead into the next 2 weeks here, where we're going to have full trading weeks, but yet probably a little bit lackluster trading to some extent. We had corn at 29.3 million bushels, up 8.9 million bushels from the previous week. Beans at 59.5 million bushels, down 9.5 million bushels, but still good. Wheat at 11.2 million bushels was up 3.1 million bushels. We also did have 132,000 metric tons of soybean sales overnight to unknown, and 141,000 metric tons of corn to Mexico on the overnight trade as well.
All right, and what about the other side of the ag marketplace in the livestock complex?
Well, livestock really didn't do a whole lot today. And actually, feeders were a little bit disappointing, because even with the lower corn price, feeder cattle actually couldn't move into positive territory. They closed lower. Now, live cattle held their own, maybe not quite as much follow through as we had anticipated off of Friday. We had, a large increase in boxed beef on Friday. It was incredible how much the boxed beef actually went up. Now we have stronger choice in select cutouts today, or cuts, up 101 on choice, up 166 on select. That may be building a little bit of support. Now, cash last week, we were steady to $1 higher. Now feedlots will be gunning for some more, but we did have 28% of the cattle that packers purchased last week committed for future delivery. So the might put packers a little bit in the driver's seat coming into this week and possibly next week as they look to purchase fewer cattle. But we are looking ahead of cattle on feed report coming out on Friday. So that might temper some of the trading a little bit. Now hogs are holding. They had a super day on Friday. Cash right now is up 45 cents. Cutouts are up 58 cents so far on the morning report. Commitment to traders did show 9,575 contracts were trimmed off of their net longs. So it seems kind of ironic because it increased so much on Friday. Cutouts will be struggling a little bit on the hogs, but I think the stronger cutouts we had there as well on Friday is an indication of strong demand, and we may see a little bit stronger demand than was anticipated for a while coming through that market. Now, we also have a quarterly hogs and pig reports as well on Friday. So we got both of those things the livestock traders are looking at.
All right, Robin, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
They can call me directly at 877-256-3253 or go to our agmarket.net, the website. There's the phone numbers on there that will reach the general mailbox, and somebody will be able to help you.
All right, Robin. Well, a great conversation as always, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon. And if we don't hear from you before the holidays, we'll just wish you a happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you and all your listeners out there as well.
That again was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers closed. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. March corn is down 5 3/4 at 647 1/4. January soybeans down 19 1/4 at 1460 3/4. January soybean meal down 13.90 at 449.10. Soybean oil up 105 at 64.41. Chicago wheat down 5 even at 748 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat up 1 1/4 at 910 3/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 1/2 cent at 843 1/2. March oats down 5 1/4 at 333 1/4. On the Merc, December live cattle up 22 cents at 155.27. January feeders down 167 at 182.10. February lean hogs down 7 at 85.70. February pork cutout went unchanged at 93.67, and December Class 3 milk up 3 cents at 20.53. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with USDA Rural Development State Director in Iowa, Theresa Greenfield. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, last Thursday, Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack made an announcement of $285 million in grants for climate-smart agriculture in rural America. USDA Rural Development State Director in Iowa, Theresa Greenfield, talked about what this means for farmers in Iowa. Well, we are here with USDA Rural Development State Director in Iowa, Theresa Greenfield, talking about some recent funding that was announced by Secretary Vilsack last Thursday. First off, Theresa, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about this funding that is really just for rural infrastructure in America.
Well, hello, Riley. It's good to be here with you. And yes, last Thursday, Secretary Vilsack announced about $285 million in Rural Energy for America grants. We call that our REAP program. That was the announcement for 2022. 840 plus grants across the country. The news here in Iowa is we received about $2.8 million in grants for 130 grant recipients. Who receives these awards? Well, it's REAP is designed to really benefit our ag producers and our small businesses across the state, allow them to invest in renewable energy infrastructure. So whether that's a solar array or some new insulation, maybe new grain dryers. There's just a host of opportunities for them to invest in clean energy.
Now, how about let's talk about a little bit more on this selection process. Were there specific areas of the state that were targeted, or was it more of a just looking for where that need was and providing the funding for it?
So we're looking for where that need is, and really one of the eligibility requirements is that you be some type of ag producer, you be a small business, or you be in the renewable fuel producing industry. And I guess you also have to be rural. You know, what we do here at USDA Rural Development is work with and support our rural communities. So that's really the requirements. After that, it just depended on the applications. And again, here in Iowa, we received 130 applications that were awarded as part of this announcement. And for example, it included a small contractor down in Glenwood who put a solar array panel on the top of their building. And it's going to save them about $4,500 a year in energy costs. There's also a farmer down in southeast Iowa that was installing a new grain dryer, and they'd be saving about $7,700 a year. You know, those are real dollars back in your pockets, not to mention their investments in clean energy. President Biden, it's been a bedrock of his policies is to invest in clean energy, and the Inflation Reduction Act really is hitting that hard with the investments in our Rural Energy for America program.
Right, and that's really kind of the big impact of this because we know that farmers are very willing and, of course, already do a lot of climate smart agriculture. But this funding is an example of how we need to encourage that and get even more farmers on board.
Yeah, you know, I had a lot of smiles on my face this weekend when I traveled to northern Iowa to visit family, and I saw so many farms that had solar arrays, and I'm sure many of them took advantage of these grants. Again, these are grants. Now, the second part of the big announcement was the funding for 2023. Overall, in the Inflation Reduction Act, there'll be $2 billion over the next 10 years invested into this kind of clean energy, renewable energy for our ag producers and small businesses. For 2023, they announced $300 million. So we are expecting that we could see an increase of fivefold for applicants here in Iowa. And I sure hope we do, because we're ready to help our ag producers and our small businesses save some money and, of course, make some really climate smart decisions.
Right, and that kind of answers where I was going to go next. But, you know, where's this focus kind of moving forward with a continued investment in these small businesses and climate smart agriculture?
Right. We are moving forward to make sure that there's plenty of grant money to go around. In 2022, those grants were up to 25% of the cost of the project. That number bumps up in 2023 to 40%. And so it's a great time to make this kind of application. And I think there'll be plenty of resources with the announcement of $300 million across the country. I got to, just give a shout out to Iowans. You know, we are one of the leading states in the nation that takes advantage of these REAP grants. And I'm really proud of our producers and our small businesses for doing that and really making some voluntary clean energy choices.
All right, Teresa, are there any other news updates or developments that producers in Iowa should be looking forward to in the near future as well?
Well, we're always busy over here at Rural Development, but I think let's just stay focused on REAP today. They do need to know that this first round of applications are due in March, and we have 10 area offices around the state. And so if anybody's interested, they can reach out to me or one of our 10 area offices, and we'll get them all the details.
That again was USDA Rural Development State Director in Iowa, Theresa Greenfield. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, it's really gotten a lot colder as we get into this winter season in a couple days. Now, in a couple days, we're really expecting that winter weather to pick up with some significant winter weather events. But for today and tomorrow, we're looking at a little bit milder weather, so kind of get prepared while you can for that. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, it's about to get a lot colder. Today we have a chance for snow or a wintry mix across the state. highs ranging from the low 20s to low 30s. Tonight we'll have snow and freezing rain overnight, lows ranging from the negative single digits to the upper 20s. And tomorrow we have mostly sunny skies, but still very cold temperatures with very low wind chill values, highs ranging from the single digits to upper 20s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will be mostly sunny with a high of 5, Shenandoah partly cloudy, high of 16, Des Moines much of the same, mostly sunny, high of 15, Waterloo cloudy and 15, Albia mostly sunny and a high of 21, and Clinton will be partly cloudy with a chance for a wintry mix and a high around 29. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free twice daily market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. For Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.